Hi guys, welcome to the last episode of the Road to Cambridge series. In this video I'll be recapping the Cambridge Half Marathon race. Obviously if you haven't checked out all the previous videos, make sure to go check them out and give them a like, and then obviously head back to this one to find out how I got on. So first of all, during the training week I kind of started off with a few light runs, and on the Tuesday, the week of the half marathon, I did 6 by 2 minutes at half marathon pace, just turn legs over to make them basically be as good as possible and primed for the race. This kind of all fell apart when I actually got to the race, and I'll recap that in a second, but pretty much I was way ahead of pace on all of these reps, which was good, and it was a good confidence booster. So then getting to the race on the day, I had a 2-mile warm-up the day after I travelled up there, just to get the legs flowing and ready to race the half marathon. And then I headed over to the bag drop, and I was waiting in this massive line to hand in my bag. A problem arose when I realised a lot of people holding these bags were in a different wave to me. They were in a later wave, so I kind of asked them if I could go further forward, and a lot of people let me through. I eventually got to the front, and the woman who was working there, obviously she was a volunteer, so I mean I can't really bash her too much, but annoyingly she took her time putting the bag before me in. I asked her if I could leave my bag on the desk so I could head to the start line. She said no, I have to wait with my bag, which was fair enough, so I waited with my bag, gave her the bag, and started jogging to the start line. As I got near the start line, I heard 3, 2, 1 go, and the gun went off. And I was in this kind of funnel, so I ran through the funnel, turned a corner, and then I was hit with like 300 people between me and the start line, all walking to the start. I just really was kind of shocked, because I've never been this kind of underprepared for the race. So I did have a race plan. So the race plan was that I went out for 2 miles at 6-minute miling, and then I cut it down to 5:50s for the rest of the race. But I was feeling good, and I was kind of really nervous because there were so many people in front of me, and I knew I had to get past them. And if you've ever done the Cambridge Half Marathon, basically it's really crowded at the start line. And you're all kind of bunched up, and it gets thinner and thinner as you go into the town. So I knew that I had to kind of get out hard and try and get past people. So if you look at this photo here, there's me really struggling, and people are looking at me like, why is this guy going off so fast? He's gonna blow up. No, I'm not. I'm in the wrong wave. I was running with people at this time who are aiming for like 1:30 or just to break 1:30. Whereas I actually ended up running 1:16:45. So you can tell I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So a lot of the first couple of miles, I was just trying to get into a good position and find a group. But the whole race, I never found a group at all. So we went through the first mile in 5:54, which was only like 4 seconds off of like the goal pace for the rest of it. And it was 6 seconds faster than what I was told to aim for by my coach. So it was actually a pretty decent kind of innings, that even though there was a lot of people in front of me, I was overtaking them, I was feeling confident, and I really couldn't think about being out of breath because I wasn't, and it just felt really smooth. So smooth that if I had gone off in a good group, I reckon I could have actually run closer to the low 16s, if not sub 1:16 during the race, which is, it's just good because it's good to build upon, because this isn't really like a goal race. Obviously, like I said, it's going into track season now, so it was just kind of racing into fitness. So it's more of a really good like kind of base building session, which I think is just like really good to be able to test early on in the year and kind of find out where you're at. So yeah, we went through the first one in 5:54. I was still overtaking people. The second one I started cutting down. I went down to 5:51. And then the third mile also 5:51, so I was definitely kind of feeling like I was at a good pace. The next one it's quite interesting because it's the 4th mile, and basically at the 4th mile it got really cramped during the race. It was kind of like this weird point where I realized I was catching up to more people, leaving a lot of people behind me, and it kind of meant that I was running still with people who were slower than me, and I'm still trying to constantly overtake, and that really like slowed me down. I ended up running a 6:06, so even though I'm supposed to be aiming for 5:50s, I mean, running 6:06 isn't really great, because I knew I wanted to get that sub 117 in the bag, just to make sure that I kind of put in a good session. So yeah, so it was tough, and all I had to do was kind of keep focus and keep aiming on the goal, keep making sure I overtake people. And I'll show a photo now of me at the 4th mile where I am trying to overtake people. I think that's roughly where it was, and you can see like I'm really squeezing around someone just to get past them and progress through the race. So after the 4th mile, it's pretty much negative splits all the way to the end. I'll put all the rest of the splits up on the screen so you can see, but yeah, it just kind of went really well. I got to mile 6 and knew that I needed a gel. I unfortunately really struggle with gels, and I would advise anyone, if you struggle with ingesting gels, because what I always do is every time I've had a gel, I've thrown up over the finish line. So I've decided no more gels for me, and I've gone for the solid option. So I bought some Cliff Blocks energy chews. You can get them on Amazon. These are the non-caffeinated ones because I don't take caffeine. And pretty much, yeah, 1 block is 30 grams of carbs, which is pretty much perfect for anyone who wants to race, and then 2 blocks is 60 grams. 30 grams, I mean, is an amazing amount, just for such a small block compared to the amount of liquid you have to take in for a gel. You definitely do need to train with these. I've trained with them before. I didn't train with them in this build-up, but I should have, because they are absolutely rocket fuel. So at 6 miles, I got this out of my pocket, and because of where I am, didn't start high enough up, because the gun already went off, I didn't pre-open this packet. So I get it out of my back pocket and I'm really trying to open it, and I just can't. Obviously I want to kind of keep the same momentum, but I can't afford to slow down. So I turn to this guy who's just kind of breathing quite heavily next to me, and I say, "You don't have any experience in opening packets at all whilst running?" And luckily for me, he took the packet from me, opened it up, managed to have a block, and he said, "That's a thank you for giving me a good ride." So after that, I kind of left him. I started speeding up. So that mile, so at the 6th mile mark is when I took the gel, and that was actually one of my fastest miles so far in the race. So that was a 5:45, and that's, yeah, it just felt smooth, and everything kind of from there just felt really smooth. I got to the 10th mile and I said to myself, well, we're at mile 10 now. I think we went through mile 10 in about 58 minutes, so I knew I was on for sub 116. I just had to kind of bank in a really good last kind of just a bit less than 5k to the finish. So yeah, I managed to then catch up with a group of people who looked like they were going pretty fast, and then I realised that they weren't going as fast as I needed to go, so I overtook them, and I managed to catch up with one of the leading ladies. I think she was about 4th or 5th overall in the end, and I caught up with her and we kind of worked together all the way to the finish line. We got to mile 13, because there's a mile 13 mark, and then you literally have 0.1 of a mile kind of sprint finish, and I literally, as soon as I hit that mile, I still felt like I had so much more to give in the tank, so I just dropped a 5-minute kind of miling pace. So I think that's about 250 per kilometre if I was to hold it for a kilometre, just absolutely sprinting to the line. I crossed the line, I felt great, and that was pretty much it. Like, I crossed the line and I was just amazed that I managed to do a 1:16:45 after being kind of starting so far back. And it kind of has made me realise that if you're starting so far back, it's actually a really good confidence booster to keep kind of pushing on. And it's also taught me like a great lesson that if things aren't going your way on race day, you can still turn it around if you know what you're doing, and as long as you stay calm. So when I hit the 6:08, I knew I just had to stay calm and stay relaxed and get into the rhythm of kind of moving up through the packs throughout, and that just really helps. And to be honest, I think next time I race, I might even employ the same tactics. So my next race is actually next Friday, so a week from today, because it's Friday today. So yeah, on the 17th of March, I'll be racing the Podium Underground 3K. It's 3 heats of 3K if I get all the way to the finals. The goal is really just to make sure I learn more race tactics, because I'll be debuting on the track for the 5,000 meters at the Comeback 5K at Battersea Park. So make sure to head down, it's free to come watch. So if any of you watch me on YouTube, then like, yeah, feel free. There's, I think last year there was free beer, and if you bought a beer instead of just taking a free one, that money goes towards the prize pot for the overall race. So it's like always a really good day. But yeah, so next week I'm doing, basically it could be a 3x3k workout if I get all the way to the finals. The goal is pretty much just to take every stage as it goes and get out of the heats, get to the semis, and then if I get into the semis, then the next goal is to get to the final. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because I've never raced 3k before, but it's an underground go-kart track, so it's not going to be like your typical 3k, which is good because I think it will switch it up for people. And I think a twisty turny course with tight turns like a go-kart track will be quite interesting, and it will challenge lots of different people's disciplines as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna head there, give it a go. That video will be up next Saturday after I record it, because I think just releasing a video every week, I usually release on Fridays, but I'll have to delay that one. But yeah, it should be a really good time, and just like a good day out. But yeah, apart from that, I hope you enjoyed this quick breakdown of the Road to Cambridge series, and if you enjoyed this style of video, then please make sure to leave a comment, and obviously like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.